Great morning, students. Today we'll start our chapter number 7 from Real English into the Future. My friends gathered around the machine in my workshop. It was exactly like the model I had shown them, only 20 times larger. In this, the narrator, the storyteller, is saying that his friends, he had made a machine, and his friends in the workshop, his friends gathered around. They stood around him, the machine in his workshop, and what was it? It was exactly like the model. He had shown a model of the machine, and it was only 20 times larger than that model which he had showed it to his friends. You mean you sit in that chair, pull that lever, and travel into the future? Asked my friend, the writer. What did his friend, who was a writer, asked? That you have to sit in the chair, pull the lever, and go into the future, travel into the future. One of his friend, who was a writer, asked. Or into the past, I said, whichever I choose. And the narrator said, the storyteller said that I can go into the past also. Whichever I choose means if I want to go into the future, I will pull that lever, and if I want to go to the past, I would choose the other one. And which would you choose? Asked my friend, the psychologist. And my friend, his friend, the narrator's friend, who was a psychologist. Who is a psychologist? An expert in human behavior, who studies human behavior. So he asked, so what would you, which would you choose? See, they are observing the machine, and the narrator is sitting. The future first, I said. It is the unknown that interests me the most. And the narrator said that I would go to future first, because unknown means we don't know about the future, what is going to happen. Past, we know what happened. Present, what is going on, that is there. But that future is unknown, and he told that unknown interests me a lot. I get interest in about knowing about the unknown. But when do we get to see it in action? Can we take a ride it in ourselves? They asked. That what they asked कि हमें कैसे, how will we see in it in action? How it will work? How will we do? Can we ride in it ourselves? हम अपने आप इसमें ride कर सकते हैं? They asked. Not yet, I said. I still have a few things to tinker with. What is tinker? To work around, to put in this. And he said, no, not now. I have to do something in it. Then it will be ready to go. Seeing my friend smile, I said, you may not believe me, but come to dinner here a week from now, and I promise to show you then that my time machine works. And what did he tell? Now it won't be, because I have to put something more, and few things are there, and when it is, then it will be ready to go. And the friend smiled at him. Then he said, you won't believe me, you may not believe me, but after a week, exactly after this day, I promise that to show you that the time machine, that his time machine works. After my friends left, I called in my housekeeper and asked her to cook the best dinner she could make for my friends next week. After my friends left means after his friends had gone. He called his housekeeper, who was the cook and who used to look after the house, and asked her to cook the best dinner she could make for his friends next week, because he had invited them that come next week. I also handed her a note to give them when they arrived, and he gave her a note, something written when they arrived. The note said that I was sorry not to greet them, but I promised I would join them before the evening ended. उसमें क्या लिख रखा था कि I promise, I am sorry, उनको उनका स्वागत नहीं कर सकता, I cannot greet them, but I promised I would join them. Evening end होने से पहले I will join them. Now, what happens? Having given her these instructions, I set to work on the time machines. After giving the instructions to the housekeeper that what she has to do, cook the final best dinner, and then hand over the note to them. Then what did he do? He started working on his machine. The work was very delicate. It was what is delicate, requiring great care. ध्यान से करने वाला. And I had to make sure that the size of the levers was just right to the smallest fraction of an inch. And he was thinking that he had to make it sure that the levers, what are levers? Levers are switch or handle which are used to move this machine, were fraction of an inch. One lever was enough to start the machine traveling through time. What was? One lever was needed to start the machine which will go through time. Push the lever up and it went into pass. What was there? Push the lever up. For example, when we are switching on and off the fans, these are electric fans. So what do? We switch it on downwards, then off upwards, and it goes. In the same way, one lever was enough to, when we pull the lever up, then it would go into the past which has already gone. Pull it down and it went into the future. The other lever was to stop it wherever I wanted, and the other lever was to stop it wherever he wanted, or rather whenever I wanted, and it could stop because I would be staying in the same spot and only the time would change. And what is there? The machine was not going to move. He was to be in the same spot and time had to change. I had finished my work before 4 in the morning. Now only one thing was left to give the time machine its first test. Now he had completed everything in that machine and only a first test was to be taken for the machine. See, time is there, time is going. I sat down in the seat of the time machine and looked at my watch. 19 minutes past 4. So what was the time? 19 minutes had gone 4. I held my breath and pulled the lever down in tiny bit. And I held my सांस रोककर. What did he do? He pulled the lever down. It felt as if I was falling through endless space. And what did he feel? That he was going to he was falling through endless space. And my stomach trying to squeeze into my throat. My mouth gasping for air. Quickly, I pulled the stop lever. And what happened? When he pulled the lever, he thought that he was falling through endless space and going, and to squeeze into a stomach. Squeeze means sikodke. It was into my throat, मेरे मुंह में, and my mouth was gasping for air. And quickly I pulled, and he was gasping. सांस चढ़ गया, and he pulled the stop lever. I looked around me and my heart sank. My coat still hung over a chair. My tools were where I had laid them. My workshop was just as I had left it. My machine was a failure. And when he looked around, what did he do? His heart sank. Dil ekdam ruk gaya. And what happened? His coat was already there over a chair. His tools were where he had left them. And workshop was just as he had left it. My machine was a failure. It was not it was failure. It was not successful. Then I saw daylight coming through the windows and my heart started beating faster. What did he notice? He noticed that it was already daytime and through the windows the light was coming and my heart started beating faster. His heart started beating faster means जोर जोर से दिल धड़कने लगा. The clock on the wall said 9:30. 9:30. My watch read 21 minutes after 4 and his watch was still there. I had traveled more than 5 hours in just 2 minutes. The time machine worked. And what he had in more than 5 hours in just 2 minutes, and that is his time machine worked. Now what he did? I suppose I should have stopped then and planned my next move. And he supposed that he should have stopped and planned his next move. But I could not wait any longer to journey through time. I pulled the lever down again a little harder than before. Time outside the time machine speeded up. I saw my housekeeper whiz into the room and cleaned it in record time. It was clear that she could not see me. I pulled the lever further down and saw the window grow dark. Then it brightened. Then it darkened again. Days went by the blinking light. And what happens? What happened? He was in the machine and he was pulling the lever up and down and stopping and also. But time was going. It was when he pulled the further down, windows grew dark, then it brightened, then it darkened again, and days went on by like blinking lights. जैसे लाइट जलती बुझती हैं ऐसे days were passing. I pulled the lever down even more, and everything around me became a blur. And he pulled the lever down, and everything was not clear. Blur means which is not clear, unclear. The walls and window of my workshop vanished. Where were they? The vanished means गायब हो गई, disappeared, could not be seen. The windows of his workshop. The machine was swaying now. I wanted to pull the lever all the way down. I did. And machine was, what is swaying? Moving from side to side. The machine was moving from side to side. And then what happened? I wanted to pull the lever all the way down. I did. और मैंने lever को नीचे करा. Around me was a world of wonders with huge buildings rising taller and taller, skies changing from dark grey to bright blue, and a countryside that grew greener and greener. And what he could see that around him was a world of wonders, huge buildings. They were rising taller and taller, the skies, and changing from dark bright to blue, and he was there. I looked at the dials of the time machine, which told me how fast and far I was traveling. And he looked at the dial as we have the dial of our watch, that in the same way he looked at the time machine, and which he told how fast and fast he was traveling. I was shocked. I had gone much faster and farther than I thought. It was in the year 8027 AD. It went very to many years. Those huge numbers made me lose my head and panic. And he was very, lose my head means he was worried. And suddenly he felt panic, means suddenly felt frightened, dar gaya. I pulled hard on the stop lever and paid the price for it. The staff was too sharp and the machine tipped over. I was thrown from my seat. And then what happened? He had come down from the machine. What happened? He pulled the machine so hard that he had to pay the price, means he had to suffer for that. The stove was too sharp and machine tipped over, and I was thrown from my seat. What is the meaning of tipped? Tilted and fell to one side. And I was thrown from my seat. He was thrown from the seat. He came down from the seat. Stunned, I lay on soft green grass. And stunned means shocked and surprised. He lay on the green grass. I heard a very loud thunderclap, and a shower of hailstones stung my face. What happened? He heard a loud thunderclap. Thunderclap means sound of thunder. गर्जने की आवाज़. Hailstones, irregular balls of ice, जो ओले पड़ते हैं. And of ice. Stung means hurt. And they fell on me and they hurt my face. A fine welcome, I muttered. A man travels over 800,000 years for a visit, and this is the greeting he gets. And what did he say? He said to himself, a fine welcome that a man travels 800,000 years for a visit, or ऐसी greeting मिलती है, he goes down. Then the hail thinned and the sun shone through a break in the clouds, and I got my first good luck at the world of the future. And what happened? Hail thinned means ओले कम हो गए और सूर्य निकल गया, and there was a break in the clouds, and it was the good luck at the world of future.